Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Java E7 tutorial, Rookie to Rockstar. My aim is to take you from being a rookie in Java E7 to being a rockstar in 8 weekends. Wow, that would be a very easy thing for me to achieve. So, how do we go about this? The prerequisite, let's start with the prerequisite to this course. I'm going to be assuming you have basic knowledge of Java, especially Java Standard Edition, and you have a basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, and Java EE or Java Web. You've done a bunch of stuff. So, this tutorial is not for entry level Java tutorial is for some people who have basic knowledge but are not so good in Java E or Java E7 and you want to learn more. So, and I'm also going to be assuming you have basic knowledge of database management system, RDBMS. Some basic knowledge. You don't have to be deep, but some basic knowledge of how databases work. I mean, writing basic SQL statements, select, and all that. So, so why do you need to learn? Why do I think you should learn Java E7? Or what's my goal? What am I trying to achieve at the end of this program for everyone that will be participating in it? One of the things is programming is cool. If you learn to be a programmer, it's cool. It's a very cool thing. I enjoy coding. And if you've learned how to write Java SE, write HTML, or you're a good web designer, you know basically the level of Java, then why not go all the way? Why not learn Java E7 and be able to build wonderful applications? You know, and another thing is work is not so scarce. If you are a Java E developer, you're very good in it. I bet you in your city work will not be so scarce, or you can even relocate to another city where you can get a job easily. So unlike you just having Java SE knowledge, many companies are not writing Java desktop applications these days. But if you know Java EE, you'll be able to build some wonderful web applications and job will be easy for you to get. Then another thing is you can implement your tech ideas. You have some ideas in your head of a particular application you want to write and all that. So if you know Java EE or Java E7, you're going to be able to implement your tech idea. Just sit down in your room with your laptop, write a bunch of code, and web is everywhere. Web is where the action is. You can just put your idea online and bingo, you can be the next Mark Zuckerberg or the next Big Gates or whatever. So job is not so scarce. So what are the technologies of Java EE7 that we're going to be using in this tutorial? Okay, I didn't mention we're going to be building a very useful application at the end of the training, or we'll build it along as we go. So by the end of the training, the application will be ready and it will be very useful. It's going to be a, a store management system, you know, yeah, like a supermarket management system for them to manage the day-to-day activity of the supermarket, and it's going to be awesome. I promise it's going to be fun along the way. So what are the technologies we're going to be using in this tutorial? Mean to write this application. You know, let's talk about the user interface, the UI part of the project. We're going to be using Servlet in Java E7 or Java EE in general. You can build your user interface with either Servlet, Java Server Pages (JSP) or Java Server Faces (JSF). So, but let me tell you one thing: Servlet is the father, but it's old. Servlet is a little hard to write. JSP is a little easier to write than Servlet, but JSP is hard to maintain. So, but JSF is the new cool kid in the block. So, in order to make this journey very fun, so that you enjoy coding, at least when you get very good, you can explore that technology. I'm going to stick to GSF. So, we're going to be writing the user interface for this training. We'll be using GSF. So GSF is component based, and GSF plus Ajax, which stand for asynchronous JavaScript and XML, makes great user experience. So we're going to be exploring these technologies. Then Prime Faces is a very cool GSF UI framework. We will see how to use that. It saves us a bunch of time. You don't have to write a lot of CSS code and JavaScript to be able to use Prime Faces, and you have very wonderful user interface in no time. So now for the business logic of this training, you know, we are going to be using a lot of EJB. You've been hearing EJBs and CDI. I'm going to be teaching you a lot about EJBs and how to use them and what are the uses, why do we use them, because we'll be using a lot of stateless to make sure our application is scalable and we can, EJB can have security wired into it, authentication and authorization, I beg your pardon, wired into it, and we're going to have very good application at the end of the training. So the other side of our application will be the data access. We're going to be talking to a database. We're going to be using MySQL database for this training. So for the accessing the database part, we're going to be using JPA, which is Java Persistent API in Java EE. It allows us to write our code in object-oriented manner. Java is very object-oriented, so we're not going to be bothering ourselves with writing columns and rows in the table. We're just going to write our application in object-oriented, and we will trust this technology to convert it to database language on our behalf. It's cool. It's really cool. It makes our life very easy. Then I will be introducing the new criteria query API, which is very fun. I love it. I enjoy writing my code using criteria query API. Then beam validation. We need data integrity. When we're putting data in the database, we don't just want to put inconsistent data or data of wrong format or that will not be used at the end of the day. We need to be able to tell the user, oh, this data you're about to insert is not the right kind of data we expect. So we're going to be writing a bunch of custom constraints to be able to validate. We'll be using non-null to ensure that, okay, we don't want null data, we don't want an empty string in the database, we want you to put real data. So we will explore beam validation in the course of the training. So other technologies that we will be exploring will be Java Messaging Service, JMS, which is a queue and topic or subscriber consumer concept in Java EE. Have you ever heard the term MOM, message oriented middleware? Okay, if you have not, every application server that supports the full specifications of Java EE 6 or 7 or Java EE in general are to have a MOM, a message oriented middleware within them, so that applications within the server or within the cluster can publish, and another one can subscribe to the queue to consume it, or topic to consume the message, and so on. So when one application is out, the other one is still there. When the consumer goes out, when it comes back up, you can still pick the message and process it. Don't worry. Along the line, I will explain Java Messaging Service to you in detail. Then we have SOAP and RESTful web services in Java. We're dealing with JSON. JSON is a new thing everywhere. Every data exchange is for new modern web applications people are building these days. They expose JSON to people, Twitter, Facebook, and all that. So I will teach you about RESTful web services and SOAP. Though I prefer to write RESTful web services than SOAP, but I will be exploring the two sides of these technologies. Then, in the version 2 of the application we'll be building now, there'll be a version 2. We change the user interface side to using AngularJS. I'll be teaching you about AngularJS in that version 2. We'll be using JAX-RS, RESTful web services in Java. Very cool stuff there. I've used it a lot of time and I enjoy writing JAX-RS web services. So other technologies include the WebSocket API, which is a full duplex communication between the client and the server. HTTP says you send a stateless communication to the server replies you, and if you want more, you call the server again, it replies you. But in WebSocket, it doesn't have to be that way. It's full duplex. At any time, the server can send you a message. At any time, you can send a message. The two of you can even send each other messages at the same time. It's full duplex communication between the server and the client. It's cool, really cool stuff. So we're going to be talking about WebSocket along the line. Then batch processing and concurrency utility. I won't be talking much about these guys here, but along the line I will explain what they do. Batch processing, which is, as the name says, you process a long process in batches. You divide jobs into batches, and you process them. Concurrency utility allows us to be able to write our own multi-threaded application or multi-threaded methods and all that within the application server, and the application server can still manage the pool, can still manage the object that we create. So basically, then the next thing I want to talk about is that this project we are building, we follow the MVC mindset. To me, MVC is a mindset, a way of building web applications that says we should separate the view completely from the controller and completely from the business logic, so that if at any time we need to change any one of them, we don't need to rewrite a bunch of code for that ones to conform. We can just maintain them individually. For example, especially the view, you know, like I said, version 2 will be using AngularJS for the view. That means we will be able to remove the JSF part of it, or not even remove it. We can even build another view in AngularJS, and we don't need to rewrite the controller or the models. So that is MVC. And MVC makes application very easy to maintain and upgrade, and it's also easy to divide one project among many uh, software engineers without one having to wait on the other, or it makes their work very easy to say. And it's trending. Trust me, MVC is trending. Everybody's talking MVC. So for that, we're going to be strongly following MVC, multi-tile application, as we move along. Then other technology we talk about is the security part. I will teach you how to do declarative and programmatic security in Java E. We'll be using MD5, SHA-256 password hashing. We won't be storing a password in the database in clear text. We'll be hashing it, so that if for whatever reason your database is hijacked, your attacker should still not be able to see a password in plain text. It's a very bad idea to store password in plain text. So we'll be hashing it. Then the two servers I'm going to be teaching you about are Glassfish and Wildfly. Wildfly is JBoss renamed, to Wildfly. I'll be teaching you how to create data sources, how to configure the security, JVC security RAM, how to configure your application to use this RAM within each of these two servers. They operate differently. So I'll be teaching you how to deploy application in these two servers, configuring the Glassfish and Wi-Fi security RAM, and how to make it work. Then I'll be teaching you about how to handle HTTP errors and Java exceptions in your code, in your project, in your app. The errors we're going to be talking about is the 500, 401, 500 internal server error, 401 authentication required, 404 which is resource not found, or 403 which is forbidden, or else like you are not unauthorized. So I'll be teaching you how to undo all these exceptions in your application. Then I'll be teaching you how to undo other exceptions that might happen. Especially at login, I'll teach you how to handle different exceptions at login using custom exception handler. So then now that's about all the technology we'll be using in the course of the training. But if you don't have the prerequisite to this training, you cannot understand what I'll be teaching. It's not an entry level training, like I said. So I will expect you to go and learn how to Java basics of Java from this URL in the video. Just go to the newboston.com with this URL. Bucky is a very, very good trainer. He has a bunch of videos about beginners in Java EE, beginners in Java generally. So you learn there. When you're good in Java, then you can come back to the Java EE to learn more. And if you don't have any experience with web design or HTML or CSS, go to W3 Schools with these URLs I have on screen to learn more about them, so that you can enjoy this training. So like they used to say, you need to learn about these things before you can understand what I'm about to be teaching in these subsequent tutorials. So in the next tutorial, I will be teaching you. We'll be starting with the problem statement of the project we'll be building. So then we will create the application, and probably we'll create the folders if the time permits us. Then we'll move on. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe and write a comment so that I can know how you feel about this tutorial.